Hey YouTube, my name's Max Convexity. Thank you for tuning into my channel. I have a very special guest today, Mr. Rob O'Toole, who's a software designer and a really smart guy. Knows a lot about crypto, knows a lot about options, knows a lot about stocks, knows a lot about programming, knows a lot about AI. So if you guys have any questions along those lines, that would be great. Today we're going to be talking about a tool, a piece of software that Rob has invented, has authored, has built, is building right now. It's a really good tool. I'll let Rob fill you in on the details. Hey, first of all, Rob, would you like to just give us a real quick background about how did you get into programming? What's your qualifications? Where did you work before?
Sure, totally. Yeah. So I might age myself a little bit here, but I started programming back in the 90s on AOL, on AOL 3.0 as a teenager, where excuse me, I would start off as like a script kiddie. We used to have these things called proggies on AOL that would like make little ASCII art of like Bart Simpson on a skateboard, giving the finger, or like, like all silly stuff like that. And I was like, how do I do that? I want to be able to do those things. And then I stumbled upon these things called like proggies. And then they had all these tools in them that would like kick people off. We call them punting, where you could do like, you'd send so many instant messages to somebody that eventually their computer would crash because it was 1996 and people had, these horrible little computers, right? So I started then, and then, eventually finally started actually getting paid to write code in like 2005, right? And so I started at a little web development shop and have, kind of flipped it from there to eventually going to Silicon Valley and leading the web team at NVIDIA for 5 years. So I was out there. It was super, super, super cool. NVIDIA is a great company. I wish I kept my shares, but I didn't keep all those shares that I got, all those RSUs then.
No.
It's always one of those things where you see like every NVIDIA employee is has at least a net worth of $25 million or something like that. But it's fine. I got a house in 2014. It's fine. We'll be okay. But yeah, so I've always been I've been a web developer / mobile developer for like the last 20 years. The last 10 years or so, I've been in the point of sale space at a company called Toast, which went public over COVID and stuff like that. And since then, I've started my own startup with the former product manager at Toast. So we have our own startup called Drip Labs, and we're building a whole bunch of cool apps for the restaurant industry, which has been super fun. But in the back of my mind, I'm hooked on crypto, stocks, and options, man. This is my favorite thing to think about, favorite thing to talk about. So I've been building on the side this app called StockTools.app, which started off as really my my spreadsheets and all of my personal spreadsheets and estimations and all that fun stuff, and pulling that out and trying to hook that all up to live data. Because I was going through sheets similarly to you, and I'm like going in an option strat and I'm looking and I'm trying to find the contract and like, okay, I want to make a poor man's covered call estimation calculator. If I take these 10 stocks and I estimate, okay, these are the leap costs, this is the short call costs, and what's my average income I could generate per week and stuff like that. So then I've taken all of those tools and ideas and kind of built out this app, which has been super, super fun.
Well, let me ask you. Okay, well, I want to get started on that
Sure.
right away. But we had something come up in our morning live stream. You probably were busy working. You may not have had a chance to see it, but we were having a debate about the future of Bitcoin versus the future of Ethereum. What can you tell us? What do you think? Do you think Ethereum? In other words, do you think maybe Bitmine immersion in the Ethereum treasury companies, if there's any more? Will that be the next micro strategies or what? Can you give us just 5 minutes on that or something?
Yeah, sure.
We'll get right into the app.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's a little different, right? So Ethereum is not capped. That's the biggest difference between the two, right? And so for Ethereum to beat Bitcoin, Ethereum is going to need volume on their transaction chain, right? So actually, do you mind if I share my screen?
Not at all. Go ahead. Please do. You're going to be sharing the rest of the time. I'm pretty much turning this over to you. I just was hoping you'd answer this one question. Then let's get in the middle of the option stuff.
Yeah.
Please share your screen.
it is, let's see,
Yeah.
I do this correctly. Let me make sure I do the right one and don't dox myself here. Cool. All right, we'll just do the entire screen. I'll just keep it safe. Cool. So let's go into, we're going to do a website called ultrasound.money, right? So this is super interesting. So this is, the idea here is they're tracking the supply of ETH over time, right? And so if I go to since the merge, you can see the supply of ETH was going down through 2022, 2023. As soon as there was a big merge where it changed from proof of work to proof of stake, volume like really increased a lot. So what changed was there was a way that Ethereum ETH transaction gas fees, and let's see if I can find a quick diagram real quick. But the idea is they take part of the transaction and pull it out and burn it, right, of every single transaction. And so when there's a lot of transaction volume on chain, there's a lot of ETH getting burned. And if eventually there's like a threshold where enough transactions are happening where it's outpacing the supply of ETH that's being created, right? And
Okay.
so when that's happening, I'm all in on ETH. I'm very much in on ETH. ETH is going to go up over time because it's less and less ETH are actually, it's even better than Bitcoin at that point, honestly, because it's getting burned and it's getting removed from the total supply. But when there isn't transaction volume, ETH just, it just keeps growing and growing and growing, which has really been happening really over the last year or so, ever since the NFT craze slowed down and the, there's not a lot of the volume has moved to Solana and Arbitrum and Base. And even during this time, there's still action on Polygon, and BNB has the Binance Smart Chain, and there's all kinds of other side chains. But really, ever since this point, Solana really took off here, and a lot of people haven't just been, they're not transacting on chain as much, right? And so even here, let me look recently. 4 year, let's look at like 30-day or something. But like, yeah, this used to be like, there would be tons of NFTs in here. There would be like NFT releases. There would be like some new NFT thing would come out and it would be the top. Everyone would be fighting. They'd be spending thousands and thousands of dollars trying to fight to get these NFTs, trying to get their transaction to the top of the chain, right? So if people don't know how Ethereum works, Ethereum is like a global computer that you're paying to execute transactions on every time you pay a gas fee. And you're saying like, I want my transaction to go through first, so I'm going to pay more gas than the other guy. And so, yeah, you're kind of like jumping the line with your gas fees. And so when there's a big NFT collection that comes out and you only have 500 NFTs that could possibly be minted, and you have 3,000 people fighting for those 500 NFTs, people are going to overpay, and then just to ensure that their transaction actually goes through and that they're able to get the mint completed. So there was like always these mad dashes for these NFT releases, and they just don't really exist anymore. Like they're not happening as much. Like,
what do you think about Bitmine Immersion or the Ethereum Treasury companies?
Sure. Yeah, I think it all goes back to this kind of chart where it's what is happening with Ether as a whole, right? If banks or somebody starts actually using Ethereum, that's the thing that happened. Is like right now, like gas fees are 1 gwei. They used to be like really, really high. I have like an alert that it lets me know when it goes under 10 gwei that I've just had forever, just from transacting on Ethereum and being like, all right, if it's under 10, I'll pay for a transaction. But anything over 10, it's too expensive to actually execute a transaction on it. So, yeah, I think if they can figure out a way to make Ethereum cool again, I think then they will be successful. But I'm waiting till I see transactions happen. That's what I'm waiting for.
So
number to go up.
Would it be fair to say that you're more of a Bitcoin maximalist than an Ethereum maximalist? I mean, do you believe in the Bitcoin system more? Okay, I just wondered.
I believe in the overall, like it's this chart. It's issuance, right? It's increasing the float over time, and so that's why it's like. How do we say it? So like on chain, like all these different tokens, like Arbitrum and Base and Polygon, like they have gas. There's Arbitrum and Base, I'll use ETH as the gas token, but like Polygon uses Polygon as the gas token. those gas tokens are have a value to them that's directly correlated to the usage on chain. And so, yeah, I feel like it's just a one-to-one. If nobody's using it, you don't need to buy it, and the value is just going to go down over time, right? But like,
all right. Well, that sounds good. Value just going to go down over time. That kind of sounds like the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, that's the other.
I mean, I'm kind of serious. All right.
No,
Well,
you're not wrong.
I appreciate you for talking about that for a second. I know that we have a lot of people interested in that, and I knew you knew a thing or two about that. Let's demo this StockTools. This thing is absolutely incredible, guys. I'm going to put my affiliate link in the comments just in case anyone wants to give it a try. No obligation, 2 weeks free.
Yeah, I'm giving 2 weeks free out just for not even signing up for a subscription at all. And so you just have to create an account and you get 2 weeks free. And then if you do create an account and or do actually subscribe through Stripe, the first month is free. So first month off. So you're getting 6 weeks of free usage right off the bat if you don't mind.
What a great deal that is. Okay, well I put my affiliate link in the thing. But anyway, okay, well,
cool.
Very good, very good.
So I'm very much interested in the options world and in the dividend income world, right? So I try to ride the line between both of them with this app, which has been pretty difficult because we definitely have like hardcore options people who want to do options and they don't care at all about the dividends world. And then there's the other side of people who just care about stocks and buy and hold and then collect dividends and all that stuff. So I've been trying to build tools for both, but we'll just walk through all of them. The real idea of like all of this stuff is I've been a super, stocks and options nerd for a while, and this is like an amalgamation of all the different cool tools that I've seen and used over the time and all the things that I would want to be available to me as a user, right? And so I've made an advanced options chain that's kind of taking the best parts of Tasty Trade and some of the other tools out there to just give you this, really hyper-focused dashboard of all of the metrics that you would care about as an option seller. Some of them are complicated and they're very heavy. Like volatility smile is a little hard for some people to understand. And so almost everything that you see, if you mouse over, it's going to give you a tooltip that kind of explains it and explains what the calculation is. That's been really, really awesome, is the power of AI to be able to be like, okay, now add tooltips that explain all of this stuff for me, please. So you can go in here. We can look at an interesting stock like Tesla. We're gonna pull up all their info. Max, you're gonna appreciate this. I just created this new GEX panel.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding me!
Night. Yeah. So
oh my gosh, I'm in love with that.
Yeah.
Holy
so we
cow.
can see where all the important strikes are. Where's all the money sitting? Where does everyone expect? It's not quite the level of geeks of finance yet, but we'll get there. I'll get there eventually. So showing all the GEX levels, generating expected move. Right now I have the default as the straddle model. This is the same model that Tasty Trade uses, where you just take the at the money call price and the at the money put price, and then multiply it times 85, and then you get kind of the expected move there. But I do have a way to change this expected move as well. I actually have a couple of different models in here. You can change it to Black-Scholes if you want, and there's a binomial model, but I prefer the straddle model.
Nice.
We can pop this out to further out expiration dates, so maybe we can see a little bit more data. Oh, you guys actually using the site? Is my site going down? Oh my God. It just might be. We'll see.
Well, we can talk about some crypto until it goes back up. I'm sure it's fine.
It's okay. But yeah, so I just want to talk through the options chain real quick. Okay. And so I have, an options chain that has all the information that I feel an options trader would want, specifically intrinsic, extrinsic, yield collection, APY, what's the delta, the theta, the IV, like all the important stuff, as well as trying to highlight the expected range here, right? So similar to Tasty, we have expected range on the left here, so you can kind of see, okay, where is this strike falling in there? And then as well as the expected range, I have this kind of highlighting of the extrinsic, right? So there's something that in the options chain, there's a bell curve, right? Of at the money price has the highest extrinsic. So I wanted to try and show a way to highlight the extrinsic value and which contracts have the most extrinsic value. So as you fade away, as the extrinsic value fades away, the background color fades away. So just like a quick highlighting area, trying to figure that out.
Hey, Applied Materials has earnings today. Maybe you could show us an example with AMAT, because it might be, because it's something that's actually happening this afternoon. We can see where the expected move is, and I think some of my guys are interested in that.
Dude, it's my site falling over. Oh my God, I'm under attack. Let's see. I don't think
this software is doing a ton of heavy lifting. It's no big deal to me that it takes a second to come up sometimes. This is awesome.
Thanks. Awesome. Yeah, it's just scary. There's probably more than 3 people on the site right now, which has never happened before. So, cool. So yeah, so AMAT actually has a really big expected range. It has a $20 expected move or $9 expected move in either direction here. 5% move in either direction. That's a big one. So yeah, interesting. And then on the put side, similarly, looks pretty good. Yeah, I think my servers are like struggling on the struggle bus. Cool. So yeah, options chain, this is really it. I have a strategy builder down here too, so you can add things together, but I haven't built out this yet. This will eventually be my competitor to option strat, where you can put together a bunch of trades down here, and then we create a strategy, and then you view the strategy and do some more expectance of how does it look. You're looking at the combination of the positions on a risk graph and all that fun stuff. But that stuff is pretty hard to build so far. So far, so good. So yeah, so I have a stock selection here. This is I jumped into the option screener. Option screener is pretty bare bones right now. It's just looking for covered calls and puts. You can put in your days to expiration. You can look for a specific delta. You can try and filter out premium. You can filter out by strike price as well. So if you don't want anything over $50 or something like that, you can throw in a max price. And we'll just run this real quick. We'll do a quick test with okay, that one was fast. All right, so let's try the big one then. I have some big ones in here where we can actually search for like the whole NASDAQ. And you say, all right, I want to find a 30 delta, 30 DTE, 20 delta call in the whole entire, we'll do a put instead and see what we get in the whole entire queues. And so what we're doing here is it's literally going through, it's checking every single option chain for all 100 tickers, and then it's selecting, the closest DTE. So we're able to find a 29 DTE, 165 strike. Yeah, and all the information you would want to see, at a glance. And again, everything has a tooltip on it that will explain the calculations and trying to, there's a lot of stuff that happens in these apps and things that you don't understand what's happening. You're like, all right, this is that, this is this, and like you just kind of take the number for it. But I really want to try and show what the differences are. What's the actual calculations for these things? How does this stuff work? And so yeah, so trying to, and then the other thing is I have a score, right? And so the score is based on income, how much time you have, what's the liquidity on the option chain for that strike, how much downside protection you're getting, the entry discount, and then the score is a little bit different for calls as well. And so let's search for calls real quick and see.
So it actually ranked, it gave out of the whole NASDAQ 100, it gave us the highest, the best ones as far as liquidity, days to that whole combination. I love metrics. I'm a sucker for metrics. I guess you made an option, a put scoring metrics, and so you're telling me it's a separate metric for the calls, but that's
it's a little bit different because the other one had like the entry, right? And so how much downside, or what's the price improvement that you're getting if you do get a sign down there, kind of thing.
Sure.
And then this one instead has an assignment upside, so it's like, okay, how much out of the money and what are you going to gain from that instead? Perfect. And so simple screening. I think if anyone has features in the feature requests, please put them in the chat. I'm going to watch this back as well and look for feedback. One of the things I'm thinking of is just IV. I know people just I only want stocks with higher than 40 IV or something like higher than 75 IV. Give me the crazy ones or something like that, or nothing nothing below 20 IV, or so probably just a min max for that as well.
Let me ask you something. Could you do IVR, which is what Tasty Trade does, which shows the IV in relation to the yearly range of the IVs? In other words, on like the 90th percentile or something?
No, curious. I can't yet. I need to, for that, I need to start saving IV every day. That's the thing for that one. I need to, so I can actually generate, I'm pretty sure they're generating it themselves, where they're just tracking IV every day and then getting the average of that, and then trying to figure out, okay, what's it looking like over the last 30 days? Is it higher or lower?
Well, they have a bigger budget than you do, probably.
Yeah,
I'm sure that takes up all kinds of space. And so I'm just curious, okay, but you could still screen for IV right now, or as soon as you put that feature
in.
I
got to put that in, but it's definitely it's like the one big feature that I think I'm missing here for the screener. But yeah, let me hop into AI recommendations. This is interesting.
Okay.
So this is, the idea here is I'm taking fundamental analysis of these stocks. Let me just get it going here, because it does take a second. We're taking the fundamental analysis, right? So we're taking revenue, profitability, balance sheet, cash flow, all of those metrics, and combining it with the technical analysis. So price momentum and trend, support resistance. I'm looking at EMA, like where the price is compared to different EMAs, where the MACD is, what's the current RSI. And I allow the user to put a weighting on that, right? Where it's like, okay, I want 60% fundamentals, 40% technical, and I want a minimum AI score of this or that, and all of that stuff, right? And so right now it's going through all these tickers, getting all those fundamentals. It's actually getting 10Ks and getting quarterly filings, and sending that over to ChatGPT, and then GPT's outputting a score, and then I'm aggregating all of those scores and then applying the weighting to the score.
Wow.
And then, based on that score, right? So you can see here, I'll look at Apple real quick, and we'll say Apple demonstrates solid growth potential with consistent earnings. Apple shows good liquidity, of course, Apple's profit margins and net income, and they have tons of cash on hand, and so they have a really high fundamental score. Their technical analysis is actually pretty good. Their RSI is at 70, so it's a little overbought. MACD is a bullish trend, where the MACD is above the signal line, and they have a positive histogram, so that's a positive. And then their EMA is both above the 20 EMA and the 50 EMA, so they're both in the short term they're both going in the right direction. So it's both riding above. Based on this score, right? So I get this score back, and let's say 7.9. I will select either a put or a call, depending on which one you select. I'll select the contract to be a little bit more bearish or a little bit more bullish, right? And so if you're more bullish on a stock, you would think that you would sell a little bit higher delta of a cash accrued put. So if you look here, it's like it's chosen the 31 delta put to sell. If we go down further and we find one of these lower scores, it's probably going to pick, it's 32 here, 26 only because that's a smaller option chain that doesn't have many available, but it's trying to find probably in the 20 to 30 range for some of these lower scores, right? So as we go down, the delta goes a little bit lower. Like even here, I saw an 18 in here somewhere. Sure. But that's also based on what's available in the option chain, because some of these option chains are a little bit more spaced out than the Mag 7. So and then the opposite for calls, right? And so if we'll do that one real quick too, just so we can do a quick demo, and we'll do a smaller subset. And so the idea here is, if you're more bullish on the call side, you want to pick a call that's further out of the money than less. A call is more for protection at that point. If you're selling something you're not really confident in, you want to sell a little bit closer to the money, because it's going to protect you, right, and give you also give you a little bit more income. So so that's AI tools, which is really cool. Like you guys can
I ask you a question real quick?
Please.
Okay, well, we have a question from Dan. It's on the screen, but just in case you can't see it, it says, are the securities in the screener pulling the entire NYSE and NASDAQ, or is there a predefined group of securities? And does it screen leveraged instruments? Yes,
so I have created, these are manual groups that I've made. So if I actually haven't updated the SPY one in a couple of weeks, so I probably need to go in there and update it. So yeah, this is these are manual groups that I've just created. But I do also have I have some leverage ones in here as well, but these aren't going to have the fundamental data. So the tricky part here is it's all technical almost, right? So it's I don't know, maybe I should do 0 fundamental weight and see what it says. It should be all technical, I wonder.
Let me ask you this. Can we make our, let's say I want to screen a universe of yield max stocks. And let's say you don't already have the predefined, you have Qs and you have the Dow or something. Can I build my own subset? Or I thought I saw the ability to do that in there.
No, that is a feature I need to build, actually.
Okay, perfect.
That's a very good feature. That's a very good feature request also. It's something that I've had that I've been sitting on, and I'm like, oh, I just need to do that. I just need to build a watch list. Like I even have a save to watch list button, but I don't have the watch list here. So that then all of these groups, and you'll see this throughout the app. We have it in a couple of different places where you can pull in some of these groups to populate the screeners and calculators. And yeah, same idea, same concept as yeah, you should be able to just pull in your own watch list, but you could also just add, you want to add whatever, you want to add something here, you can pull in whatever you want and drop that in, and it'll load right up for you.
Because I have a bunch of guys in my Discord that like to sell options on leverage instruments. It might be cool if you had one of all the leveraged index instruments. You would have TQQQ and SQQQ and whatever the SPY ones are. And then there's leveraged single stock instruments. A lot of people love selling puts on TSLL or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. It's these weren't bad. These actually came back with pretty good scores. Interesting. You can see fundamental analysis, just base 50. It's just giving it a base score of 50. Cool. All right, this one is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. So this is the rolling engine. This is something I've spent a lot of time on. The idea here is you come here and you're trying to figure out, like, what do I do? I'm underwater. I got a Palantir call. I sold the 175, 2 weeks ago for $2.78, and now it's $5.78. What do I do? So I don't know if you guys realize what I did there. Sometimes I go a little fast, but you select your ticker, and then it's going to populate the options chain below. You find your strike for whatever the scenario is that the stock you're trying to roll. And then we put in the premium received, and then now we're going to drop that contract with that state into the rolling engine, right? So I'm pulling in all the information. We're getting the entry. We're figuring out what's the current mark price and what's your profit and loss, showing you some interest or some open interest and volume. Oh, man, is that today? 1,000 shares. That's a lot of contracts, but it is 1 DTE. So then also showing you how much intrinsic is left and how much extrinsic is left on it. Also, like a theta metric here of showing how many dollars per day you're earning or burning, really. And then all of your Greeks that are important to you. Again, with kind of some tooltips explaining it, and then like a little mini expected move. Sorry, I'm just looking at this. Like, is this right?
That's fine. Take your time. My guys love this.
Right. I'm like, okay, this looks a little wide, but it's not. It's right. It's like $5 in each direction. It's okay. It's just these 190s and 170s seem further away. I would think it should be picking like the 175, but it's okay. So we have the option. We have all the details that you care about the current position that you're in, and then I have an analysis where I'm trying to break down all the important metrics and all of the different levers that would make you make a decision on whether you should roll or not. And so delta, and then based on your current delta, like this delta is 1 day to expiration, and you're at 80 delta, so it's highlighted in red. The current theta, it's earning. This is the thing I need to work my burn rate calculation. It's burning a lot. It's burning a lot of theta per day.
Sure.
What's the current gamma? How many days to expiration are there? What's the current price? Is it in the money? Is it out of the money? Near the money. What's the intrinsic, extrinsic, etc. And then breaking down the system recommendation based on some targets, right? So we have some. So I have a rolling engine that's going through and it's trying to figure out, okay, if I could roll, like, what's the current situation? I'm at a loss. Where does it explain it here? Sorry, but it's the idea is like roll up and out pretty much, right? So it's trying to figure out, okay, I'm in a loss. I'm underwater. I need to get out from underneath this thing. And so it's going and it's finding, the next contract where you could roll. It's going to cost to close, but you are going to roll for a credit, and you're going to get some deltas back as well, right? And so it's trying to figure out what's the recommended contract. And so it figures out this recommended contract, and then based on that recommended contract, it's trying to figure out, okay, does it make sense for you to roll right now? Whether you should roll, like if a score is like, I think 60 or below, like maybe you shouldn't roll, maybe you should hold. And this is also something I'm tweaking to make, because theta, you're very rarely going to roll and get more theta, right? Like this is an interesting problem, because you're almost always going to get less theta if you're rolling. That's why you're rolling, because you're close to the money and it's aggressive, and you're scared, right? So I give a couple options here. We can switch to a couple of different scenarios where it will hopefully pick a different contract, because it's trying to hold the strike here, but it actually didn't. It picked one way up and out. This one's a more aggressive one. Fortress Wall is like a in the money, more aggressive one, where it's going to just roll 15 days out to a 177 strike. But yeah, trying to show all the information that you would care about when you're trying to roll a contract. I think this is very busy. Also, I need to think of a better way to represent this data. But just same thing with everything else. I'm trying to explain all the calculations in here. I'm trying to show you how we get to these numbers. What are the breakdowns for all of these things? Like, what's the new premium, the cost to close, and explaining what's a net credit versus a net debit. And you can even do that in here, where I can say, okay, I'll roll for a debit. I'm okay rolling for a debit.
Sure.
Might do some different contracts maybe. But and then if you don't like these options, like let's say you don't like what the engine is selecting for you, you can go in and say, oh, I don't like that. I want to select the September 25th. Actually, let's see what this one looks like. And then it actually pulls that contract in. Nice. And you can look at those contracts the same way as those other ones that I've self-selected.
I don't think there's anything else that does this. I mean, there's some other things that do option flow, like unusual wells, and there's things that do like option strat or whatever that
sure.
Does profit loss. But I don't know of anything that does this type of.
I don't think so either, honestly. Like, this is all mind of a crazy options trader, me just sitting here talking to Claude all day, coming up with all these crazy ideas for how I want to build this stuff. This is all stuff that I want, right? And I've just been selfishly building stuff for myself, and I'm like, if I build it, they will come, kind of thing, of just like, I know there's other options nerds out there. There's literally dozens of us. So so yeah, I've just been building all this stuff out, trying to think, what would I want in a tool, which is good because I'm getting all this really cool, powerful stuff, but it's also bad because people aren't as crazy as me and you, Max, and they look at this and they're like, what the heck is going on here? What does all this stuff mean?
Well, there's 11 other guys here that would disagree with you, because I'm telling you, Dan and all these guys in here are absolutely option nerds as well, and they love the details. So we're your perfect target audience. So don't worry about that. But you're right; it's going to be somewhat limited. It's not as much general appeal as, say, some things have. Unusual wells or whatever. It's very general appeal, but they're just showing you option flow. And I'm sure you can build a flow tool into here too, but you don't need to compete with them. No one else has a rolling engine and, and AI recommendations that I know of. I think this is awesome.
Thanks. That's awesome to hear, man. I've kind of just been building this in this room like a crazy person, just like showing a couple of people. Every time I show anybody, they're like, what the heck is this, man? I don't stock trade like this. I don't do this. But that's also the idea is hopefully I can build some of these tools and hopefully simplify them and get them to a point where it is accessible to the average stock and options trader. Right.
I mean, it's only $20 also, even if a guy just used one tool, even if you just use the rolling engine, but it was really, you just got to be an expert of that. And maybe you also like to look at the screener to pick, cash secured puts.
Sure. Yeah.
That to me could be worth it, even if you don't use your more esoteric tools, or at least not right now. And then maybe you can learn those later. But I just think this is a great value also. I'm not just saying that because I'm an affiliate, but I just think it's a great value.
Thanks, man. I was trying to charge more for it at first, and I was like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll just see if we can get some people to pay $20 first, and then we'll see.
Heck yeah.
So this tool is this is something interesting. So like, let's say you want to make $5,000 a month. So this usually most portfolio builders start with how much money do you have, right? Let's say I have $100,000. I want to make a portfolio. It's like, no, I don't. That's fine. That works. But I wanted to work a little bit backwards, where it's more like an income goal as a target, right? And so I want to make $5,000 a month. How can I do that from a couple of stocks? So we can pick a couple of stocks in here. We can pick like Palantir, and we can say, all right, we'll do 25% Palantir. We'll pick all good ones. We'll pick all good ones to make it a nice demo. What's another interesting one?
NVIDIA maybe, or
AMAT's popular.
Oh, whatever, yeah, AMAT, NVIDIA.
And we'll do NVIDIA for another 25%. And so what we're doing is we're setting the allocation to 25%. This needs a little bit more explanation, I feel like, because this is a little confusing. But what you're saying is I want 25% of the income to come from this stock, not like 25% of the of my portfolio will be this stock. It's 25% of the income. So if something has like a lower IV, it will take more. It'll require more collateral to get there, kind of.
Sure.
Thing. So, yeah. So it's really working backwards from the income generation side. So yeah. So we're going through. We're finding. This is also something cool. I have the trading cadence in here. So now we're looking at. It's just grabbing 35 delta options. Because we have them based on moderate. If I change to conservative, it changed to 20 delta options. If I go to aggressive, it'll do 50 delta options. I don't know, most people probably won't do, but we'll stick to moderate just for now. And then you can go from monthly to weekly, right? So some people will do the tasty way, 30 to 45 DTE, or some people are hyper trading every week and selling Friday weeklies. We can look at the difference where you can generate $5,000 a month with the $100,000 portfolio here using these 4 stocks. If you trade weekly, if you're trading monthly, it would be a little bit more. It'd actually be double.
Sure, that makes sense.
Right.
I mean, that's the way it works.
Especially with these high IV ones, right? These high IV tickers are super volatile, and so their weeklies are way more way higher premium. And so, yeah, and then the other thing, let's see, what else is explained in here? So yeah, we show the IV, the expected move, breaking down the calculations again, just trying to teach a man to fish a little bit, right? And so trying to show people like, hey, there's no magic sauce behind here. These are just pretty simple calculations that I used to do in my spreadsheets myself when I would enter in all this data manually. And I would go through option strat and pull out, all right, what's the 100 shares is, how many lots do I have? And I'd multiply the strike price times the lots, and then figure out, put in the premium and all that stuff, right? And so, figure out how much weekly income you generate. The other thing here is if assigned. I think this is super important. A lot of people don't think about this because I don't know, we're greedy options traders, and we never let our call options get assigned. But if you do let your call options get assigned, you can actually make a pretty good amount of money just on the underlying increase in value, right? So. If you were just to collect premium every week on Palantir, you'd be making 1.88%. But if you were to actually get assigned and get that price increase, you'd be making 4.5%, and then like that crazy 200% annualized, right? So, and just breaking this down. Oh yeah, I have capital withdrawn as well. So like, all right, let's say I need to make 2,000. I want to make 5,000, but I need 2,000. I want to pay my mortgage, right? And so I'm withdrawing $2,000 a month, and then trying to figure out, okay, what's that look like over time? Excuse me. And then if reinvested, without reinvested, and all that stuff. That's really it for this tool.
I really like that tool. Does that tool factor in using synthetics or deep in the money options? I'm sure you could build it where it did, but that's factoring in using the underlying and selling options on the
well, that brings me, I can actually show a poor man's covered call calculator actually, where
nice. That's what I was hoping for.
So so I do have that. I do have something that does that. So let's see. So we put in NVIDIA. We can select our leap target delta, and so we'll say 75 delta. That's fine. The recommended, you can put whatever you want. You want a short one? Do you want a long DTE with low theta decay, leap? And then you select your short call, right? And so now we're showing the user, hey, here's 6 leaps we found. It automatically selects the one that you have selected here, but it lets you select any one you want if you want to look and play with any one of them in the calculation. And then it kind of breaks down the contract here. This is just the leap side, also just this section. So
Okay.
it's explaining, how much it costs up front. It's going to be $4,400. You're going to get 75 deltas, long deltas, which is very important to always manage your deltas. Everyone out there, always keep an eye on your deltas. And break down the intrinsic and extrinsic, right? And so extrinsic is really what we're paying for. That is what we're going to lose over time, right? And so, we're paying about $1,800 in extrinsic, $1,900 in extrinsic, and then we're losing about $5 a day. So your leap loses $5 a day, about $34 a week, about $150 a month. So you need to now put that leap to work to generate to make up for this loss, right? And so, I have this chart. This chart here is very cool, but this is my my crazy chart that's showing leap strike. We have expected move for the downside, expected move for the upside, and this is the short call expiry. I think I can go out. Oh yeah, we have it all the way out to the long expiry as well. So we got both contracts on the chart, so we can see where their expiration dates are. We can see where the call strike lives, and then we can see our profit zone is the green area. And then it's very hard to see. Maybe if I put it to the weekly, we might be able to see it more. Oh no, because it's trying to stretch it out to see this long expiry. But there's a green screen here. And actually I have dark mode also. And I would like, this is way too much on the eyes. I feel like the chart is too hard to read on dark mode. But I definitely have some people who see it and they say they like dark mode better. So please let me know if you guys are dark mode people. I'm definitely not gonna delete it, but I feel like I can't read this chart in dark mode. So you have the leap set, you have your expectations there, and then now we can look at the premium targets for the weekly premium. And so the idea here is, what are you trying to recover? Do you need to recover the extrinsic and the intrinsic, or just the extrinsic, right? Because you're already going in the money, and so you're hopefully you're guessing, or we're all hoping here that the leap retains its extrinsic or intrinsic value, and it's only losing extrinsic value over time. And so the idea here is like, well, we can just say for a full recovery, if you wanted to cover the entire cost of the leap, the entire $4,500, you are going to need to, at the minimum, collect $100 a week. If you want to make 25% on this leap, you'd have to collect $126 per week. If you want to make 50%, you'd have to collect $150 in premium a week. And then this last option here is selecting the current live weekly. So I'm already pulling in some short call opportunities here and selecting this 30 delta put, or 30 delta call, and then shoving that in there as well and doing a calculation based on that. So if you were to sell this call and collect the whole premium, if it did in a perfect world expire worthless, every time for the next 12 weeks or whatever, it's going to pay off and cover the full recovery of the entire amount. If we change it to extrinsic, it's actually a lot less, right? So this is why people actually do performance covered calls, because you really don't need to collect that much premium off of them to be able to make up for the theta decay that happens from them, right? So you only need to collect 50 or 60% to make a 50% profit on this call option, on the long call. So and then just a whole bunch of stuff that explains performance covered call in general, just general information on management, what to do when the short calls are challenged, roll the short call up and up to a higher strike, collect additional credit, maintain distance, avoid rolling for a debit unless absolutely necessary. If you're feeling anxious about the position, close the entire trade, buy back the short call, sell the leap at the same time, look for better entry opportunities. Especially delta monitoring, continuing monitoring your net deltas. Never want to, always with those short calls are going to increase in delta way faster than your leap is going to.
Absolutely.
So as soon as your short delta or your short call goes in the money, those deltas go way up. They go from 60 to 70 to 80 really fast. So it's going to bypass. It's going to go right past your leap. So you got to be very aware of these. So performance covered call calculator is fun. That's a fun one if you're thinking of opening a new trade and you're trying to figure out, all right, what should I do? Where should I put my leap? What do I do, this and that? And then I have a couple other calculators that are similar to that. I'm just going to show the covered strangle calculator because it's really a combination of the covered put or the cash secured put and the covered call calculator combined together to combine like Voltron and create the super called the so this guy. So yeah, so we have this idea here is looking for Apple. It's trying to find 30 delta calls. It's right now I have it set to sync the call and the put deltas, but if you want to mix them up and you say, all right, I want to do a 20 delta call and a 30 delta put, it just moved that put strike lower.
Nice.
Probably even lower, and it just put the put strike even lower. So now we're actually outside of the expected move, almost there. So yeah, or you can just put them in sync and then they'll just both be 30 and then it moves up. And then again, breakdown. All right, here's the total premium you would expect to collect from the short call in, the short put, the yield. Profitability is like really where you are in range, but it's pretty much always 50% because we're creating a new one. So it's always going to find a one in the sweet spot usually. But actually, I guess if I change this to, this will change if I change this to 15, right? And so yeah, 57%. So now we're slightly less in the money. Yeah, breaking down contracts and all the information. Again, similar to the expected move panel, I have a break-even range where we're showing where you are in the range and where your break-evens are. Just more information, man. Just information overload as usual. Trying to get all of this stuff that I would think somebody would want to see, right? What's your premium collected? If your calls get assigned, what's your profit? Your max loss is, technically, if it goes to zero, as we all know, if Apple goes to zero, you're going to lose your initial shares plus the cash secured put is going to get assigned, and you're going to get hit for 200 shares lost to zero, which Apple's not going anywhere, so you should be fine. But trying to break down all of these things, and then then right here also, so we can switch. So right now, by default, it's set to the weekly time frame, but we can change to the 30-day, and that'll populate with 30-day metrics. Same thing for 60-day here, and then everything updates, and now we're a lot more spread out, and yield is spread out a little bit more, and just so trying to find a way to quickly find trades, right? And so. This is like there's almost like a weekend mode of the app or like an off hours kind of thing of the app or something like that. Like there's a lot of stuff I just play around in here for a while, just like trying to find new trades and stuff in off hours. And then there's other times like during the day that I'm trying to find stuff. But you're trying to find trades in real time.
I got you. Do you want to take this question from Dan again? What are the top 2 or 3 tools for people that are just starting out in options and have little options experience? So I'm going to say the cash secured put screener. The first this would be tool number 1, I would think.
Yeah, I would say like covered call, and like covered call always, of course, is like the go-to one, just because people hopefully you can't hurt yourself too much with that, right? You're buying the shares and you're selling a call above the price.
Yeah.
So I would say like coming here, it's pretty simplified as well. It's not too overwhelming, hopefully, where they, if they don't understand deltas, they can pick, all right, am I selling for income? Am I conservative? Am I aggressive? Am I defensive? And the tool will choose the appropriate delta based on those selections. And then we're just going to very simply show them 3 options where you can select, 30-day, 60-day, weekly, and then as well, again, another table breaking down, all of the pertinent information of, and so I would say option screener as well. I think, coming here and being able to see like, okay, let me just look at the queues and look at every single ticker in the option chain and, rank them by score. And like, okay, I guess, from all of these, you would be okay. I wouldn't trade Intel right now, but, some people do. Some people still like Intel, but all of these companies are all good companies for the most part. I don't know who GFS is. I've heard of Fastly before. I think that's Fastly. But I would say the screener and then the covered call, and it's similar to just standard intro to options for everybody, right? Like the cash secured puts and covered calls. I would never tell anybody to do a poor man's covered call unless they've very much.
That's more advanced. It's more advanced. Let me ask you this: Are you going to stay focused on the option side? And I know the answer to this, but I'm trying to set you up for your next deal. Or are you going to go to more general type screeners? Like, let's talk ETFs and income stuff here in a second, if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I have a bunch of ETF stuff in here too. Like I even have leveraged ETF scanners. We can scan all those real quick.
Okay.
All the other ones. But yeah, the dividend ETFs and dividends, right? So yeah. So as you can see, I'm very much an options nerd, but I also have been following everybody's channel. I've been a big fan of your channel, Max, for the last couple of years. Been following Rod, and I miss Rich, Roundhill Rich. I don't know where he went, but he's been gone. Everybody from remember Panda, dude. Panda was awesome.
I love Panda. I discovered Panda. I swear to God, I gave that guy so much publicity.
That guy was awesome, man. He was good.
Yeah.
He was always
he's great.
Realist. He was really great. I've been through all of them through the years. Amy and Bad Financial Decisions. She's great. I love what she's doing with Yield Might. And
she's incredible. Yeah.
She's really great. Like everybody in the whole community has been really great. Even Kamir and everybody. And I know everyone hates on Kamir, and I know he has some.
We have a good community. I mean, it's
a great community, man. And he has
everyone. Yeah.
He's just trying to get people investing in these products. I know maybe a little too much, but yeah. So on the dividend side, I've built some tools, very similar tools, right? So this is a dividend income calculator. Same idea from the options one, where like, all right, what do I want to make? What do I want to make a year? I need to make $10,000 a month to pay my rent and to feed my family, or whatever it is, right? And so. Sure. Similarly here, I think for intro to stocks, intro to ETF, I need to have some like, here's your top ETFs here. So right, so you'd be like, all right, I want my YMAG, and here's some popular ones. I can do YMAG, and we'll do, oh dear, did I break it? Don't break on me, bro. What just happened? Am I getting hacked in real time? Let's see. You don't need to make $100,000 a month. I feel like I got logged out there for a second. That was weird. All right, we're back. What happened there? We're doing it live. Let's see. I was just making changes to this like minutes before we went live, so I wouldn't be surprised if I introduced a bug at 2:45. So yeah, so we'll do QDTE, and we'll do PLTY for 25%, and we'll do Alti. Find it. There we go. Alti for 25%, and oh dear, something's happening here. I'm under attack. We'll just do Alti for 100%, and we'll.
Okay.
Some of these are working. Oh, I think Alti's crashing my app or something. Let's see. All right, QDT is working. Alti is not. All right, maybe Alti yield is so high it's breaking math. And
it went ex-dividend today. It always messes up my spreadsheets.
Oh, is it ex-dividend? That might be part of it. That actually.
But anyway.
But yeah, so similarly, you could break down. You could add many stocks in here. You can tell, my girlfriend's not watching live. I sent her the link, but she's calling me right now, so that's fine.
Uh-oh. She's not a Max fan. She probably watches Coach. She doesn't like Max. Oh, no.
She's on with Coach. Yeah, so the idea here is similarly, but it's a little bit more broken down actually. So the idea is I'm looking at QDTE. I'm saying, I want to make $1,000 a month. How do I make $1,000 a month from QDTE? I'm going to need to, I'm going in and I'm actually generating, I'm looking at the last 4 dividend payments. Instead of just taking what the latest one is, I'm taking the last 4 and then creating an average based on that. Okay. And then I'm trying to break down, okay, what's going to be their dividend yield for the year? What's the average dividend payment? And then what's the monthly income, right? Based on, to generate, what's the monthly income from those shares. So to make $1,000 a year, to make $80 a month, you'd need 90 shares, right? And then this is something actually I worked on this weekend, was now trying to extrapolate. Oh, you know what? I know exactly what's happening now that I think about it. So Alti switched dates. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to determine what is the future payment schedule going to be, right? And so actually, if I sneak peek a little bit, none of these Roundhill, or YieldMax, they never actually post these dates and what their ETFs are going to be in advance because we don't know yet, right? Like the dates, yes, we know, but the amounts we never know.
True.
And so I'm just taking the average and then extrapolating that out of, okay, what was the last 4, and then trying to figure out from there based on what are their pay dates, and giving you, okay, their payment date, what's their ex-div date? Oh, I got to reorder that. But what's their ex-div date, and what's their payment date, and what's the amount could be, and what would your payment be, kind of thing. So you'd be getting $20 every Thursday. This should be on Friday actually, but it's showing up on the ex-div date, but that's fine. Or no, is my math wrong? Oh no, I think that might be right. Yeah, and then trying to kind of copy the great tools that exist out there. Like MarketBeat has a good tool where you can put in an individual stock and see some of this information, where you would put one stock in, you would kind of hard code your yield, if it pulls in the yield dynamically, because the yield is usually wrong, and then we'll put in like a monthly withdrawal amount. Since we have a really low one, we'll just do $10. And so it's then trying to figure out, okay, over 10 years, if we're pulling out 50% of the dividend, what does that look like over time? And then how many shares are you increasing over time, and like how much are we growing? So then trying to figure out, okay, if we start here, how much do we have eventually in 10 years from now, and kind of breaking down all of that math, and then also giving you eventually the calendar, the payout calendar, and then I don't know, just more info, man. Just more and more info of what it could be, just kind of broken down. I think I need to put this and this and these kind of all into like tabs maybe, and put them all underneath to try and simplify the page a little bit, because it is very long. But yeah, it's been fun, man. It's been fun trying to build this out this weekend. After our conversation last week, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna go on Max's channel next week. I'm gonna have to. I gotta make sure all my dividend tools are good to go. So
well, you can come on. You can come on in a few weeks, maybe again. But when you get some new tools built or something,
totally.
when it's been a couple of weeks and you don't have to do the same demo again, but you can come on and say, hey, I got this great new tool, and this is how it works. Because this stuff is kind of technical, but it's good to have the developer show us what they're doing. We have retire on dividends. We have a star in our comments. Look at this. He's saying,
oh man, the myth, the legend.
New tool, huh? Yes. The man, the myth, the legend. Thanks for being here, Rod. But yeah, Rod, it is a new tool. And I'll tell you what, Rod, I tell you what you can do. You just go right here to this link and you can try it out. No obligation, free for 2 weeks, no obligation. And then if you sign up, you get it free for another month. You get the first month free too, or something.
Yeah.
What a deal.
Exactly. Yeah.
What a freaking deal.
Yeah, I'm trying to hydrate this thing. I need to push it to the limits. As you can see, I need to see where it's going to fall over. If we get 10 people using it at the same time, or is my backend server is going to handle the load, or is it going to crash, or is everything going to fall over? So this tool is this is like the keep them honest tool kind of thing.
Okay.
This is checking ETFs versus their underlying, or versus any ETF versus ETF kind of thing, right? So I have a bunch of pre-selected ones in here. So we have YieldMax single stock group. I have YieldMax multi-stock. I have Roundhill's Bitcoin ETF comparison,
nice.
NIAS funds, Curve, Roundhill. And so this is all stuff that I manage. So if I'm ever missing anything, like, you guys feel free to reach out to me, and say you missed the new one. Like I put BRKY and Robley in here, but for some reason I'm not getting data on those. And then this is just a whole big table, man. This is just a whole big table. I'm finding all the dates. I'm doing the calculations. I'm figuring out what dividends were paid during that time and aggregating them together, and then trying to figure out who's winning, right? And so if we sort by difference here, which is very interesting, the difference is the ETF versus the underlying, right? So
it's the buffer report. You've stolen the buffer report.
Yes,
I'm going to get on the phone with my lawyers, and I can't find my phone right now, but you're going to expect an injunction in your mailbox tomorrow. You hear a knock at your door, you probably don't want to answer. It's probably somebody serving you.
Well, that's it, man. Honestly, I have a free I had the idea yesterday. I was like, I got to get Max a free coupon code so he can just use this whenever you want for your buffer report, because I feel so bad. Every time I see your sheets fall over, I'm like, man, there's a better way. There's a better way to do this. We gotta figure out a better way. So these are comparing, and we can go back, 6 months. It's gonna try and find. It's probably gonna miss probably 7 or 8. All the new ETFs that have come out. It's not going to have it's not going to have all the info going back 6 months, like the Hui and the Winter,
Sure.
but it has most of them.
Yeah.
And we can see like Tesla is actually winning over the last 6 months. Tesla is beating Tesla. AMZ is beating Amazon. Pi versus PayPal. Like these ones are actually outperforming the underlyings.
That's awesome.
Which is pretty promising, which is interesting, right? Like they're actually winning, which is something interesting to see. What else do we have here? Yeah, so this is something I actually added this weekend too, is the NAV stability. And so this idea is the ETF's price movement, excluding dividends to assess the NAV stability, right? So looking at Tesla's price over the time frame and seeing like where does it live? Is it going down or is it staying up, right? And so most of these, unfortunately, are declining. It doesn't mean, of course, it doesn't mean that YieldMax is losing money, but it does mean that you probably can't live off of these dividends, right? And so
they're less stable. It'd be fair to call it less stable or less
right.
less sustainable. They're stable is not really the right word, but anyway, I know what you mean. And everyone here knows what you mean too.
Let me pull in maybe one of the Neos or something. Some of these are a little more stable than others. We'll see.
Put in SPY or triple QI. It's the ones that pay low. That the problem is.
Right. SPY is stable. QQI stable. Bondi stable. CSHI versus Shy. GDXY a little slightly declining. So it's interesting, right? And so looking at these, and then we can go in and dive into comparison chart, right? And so looking at GDXY versus GDX, we can look at total return over time. We can look at just the price change of the underlying, so we can see like there is the big gap there. I have this price chart in here, but it doesn't really work that well just because the ETF, like GDXY, the scales are just way off, right? We're looking at
I got you.
It doesn't look as bad here, but when you look at like Meta, that's like $700, and then FBY or whatever, that's like
you're going to probably have to build separate charts, one on the x-axis and one on the z-axis. Or what I'm saying? But there's a way to fix that. But you're only one person doing this. Also, is what's so amazing.
Well, I have the power of Claude, thankfully, and Cursor and AI, which has been super, super helpful with all of this. But
let me tell you something on that stability tool. What you need to do, and I can help you on the weekend or whatever. But what you need to do is compare apples to apples. You take the 30-day IV of Tesla against the 30-day IV of Tesla, and you run a ratio on it, and you find the ones where it's closest. Because of course, all the ones that are going to be high paying are going to go down the most. But if you take the implied volatility or maybe even the Sharpe ratio, you can maybe make more of an apples to apples comparison. That's just my idea.
No, that's definitely interesting.
I would do that if I could, but my spreadsheets are always crashed. I took that. You gave me a formula for IV that you got from Rod, but I can't get it to work. I mean, IV is the hardest thing to get. I mean, from what I'm doing, I can never get a good source for comparing IVs to IVs, but that's how I would do it. I would just compare the IV instead of the price. Sure. If you find a high yield fund that's IV is 700 and its underlying is 50, it's not as stable as one that's IV is 30 when its parent's IV is 20, just by math. I mean, that's all.
Isn't IV generated based on like put call ratio?
Well, I mean, IV's a derivative of option prices, but okay, well, forget about that. Use Sharpe or use
It's all good. We'll figure it out.
Sharpe ratio might work. And anyway.
Yeah, cool. So this other tab is income analysis. This is actually like, it's almost like a back tester almost, right? So like, let's see, let's pick a different one that actually pays out a little bit better. So we'll go to Palantir and we'll do income analysis, and we got some missing dates in there. I should have stuck around on GDXY. Let's see. So I'm only as powerful as my API, as we were just talking about, right? So let's say we invested $30,000 in Misty at the beginning of the year, right? And so we can see what our payouts would have been each month over time.
Beautiful.
Which is something interesting, and see like, okay, I started at 1,600 shares. If we reinvested, we would have doubled our shares, and we would have had a 70% growth in shares over time. So just trying to different ways to kind of break down this data and trying to And it was something I actually just realized this weekend as I'm looking at it. I was like, oh, this is almost like a back tester then, because I'm actually doing backwards. I'm finally looking at backwards. And so now I can, the other idea I had was to kind of combine this in my portfolio income calculator, where it's like, okay, take 5 stocks and then put in an investment amount and then try to determine what I could have made if I had invested in these stocks at the beginning of this year or over this time frame or something like that.
I'm trying to do that also. I have something called the retirement simulator, which is one of my most popular things, and it can only look back a year. I can't do 6 months because but anyway, but no, that's a great idea because you can test allocations. Wonder if you say, okay, well, I'm 60-40, but instead of being 60-40, I want to be 60-30 and then 10% in Alti. What would have that done? I mean, I love that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we'll get there. We'll get there. I'm definitely going to build that out.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. And then dividend data is just like a breakdown of like, hey, what were the payments over time? This one isn't too exciting because that one doesn't pay. But if we go to like SPY, this does have a dividend. So we'll be able to see a SPY dividend payment and then a SPY payment and then a dividend and then a SPY and then SPY, and then the SPY payment comes back in again. Yeah, I need to work on presenting this data a little bit better as well. I think I'm full screen right now too, so it's a little bit it's a little bit crazy. It's a little bit too stretched out. I think hopefully it looks okay on everyone's screens as we're sharing. But yeah, so this is actually let's do a quick test real quick. I want to show you something cool that we can do in here. So we have yield max in here still. We can pull in curve, and we'll pull in yield boost. And we have come on, yield boost, and we'll do rec shares. Rec shares should be okay. We'll do Round Hill Weekly, even though I'm at 6 month time frame, so a lot of these are going to be probably like they haven't even existed for 6 months. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to sort by the underlying, right? So now we can see. Okay, what's Apply versus Apply? And we can see who's winning here. ALPY is winning over AAPY. And then we look here, AMZ versus AMZP. AMZY is winning, actually. And this was the other way around for a while. This was actually Curve was winning. And they might be overall. We're just looking at the 6 month time frame. But over this slice, AMZ is outperforming AMZP by 3%, which is interesting, right? So actually being able to do these comparisons of these underlyings and all this.
Yeah, this is absolutely incredible. And I'm going to tell the audience what I told you, but I think you ought to break it down. I think you ought to just have one that does ETFs in a separate thing and charge another 19 for that. Some people, but anyway, you're generous though. You're like, no, I want to show everyone everything.
I do want to show everyone everything. We'll see. Once I cover my base costs, I think I may bump the price up a little bit. I just need to pay for the API. Once I get the API paid for, which is very expensive every month. And so once that's covered, then I think I'll be a little less more of like, I need as many users as possible right now because I need to pay the bill. Once the bills are covered, then I can kind of be a little bit more. Because what I really wanted to do originally with the pricing was kind of do a good, better, best model of like a $9.99, $19.99, and then like a $49.99 that would unlock everything. Because I
would have everything. I love that idea because it's incredible. The option tools by themselves are incredible. And the ETF tools are incredible, and both of them together for $19.99 is absolutely incredible. So,
thanks, man.
Yeah,
I greatly appreciate that.
Now we're over time. Do you need to? Do you have another appointment? If you don't, I can stay around.
You're the highlight of my day, Max. All
right. Just making sure. Keep going then.
You're all good. So I jumped over to another page. So that's income ETF analysis. You can go in. Actually, there was one other feature I didn't show in here. As soon as it's done aggregating all the yield max stocks, just getting them. Wait for it. We're almost there. Come on, you can do it. Come on. We're showing off too many features, man. People are actually using it.
Heck yeah, that's the whole idea. I think I'm going to have to get the Python API. But the Google is just not. Google Finance is just not robust enough for me. That's what I'm going to do this weekend is convert all my stuff over to the what's it called? Polygon API, right? Is that what you use for data?
Yeah, I'm using Polygon, but I'm using the business model. So there is like
I'm just going to use the free one. All I need is end of day prices for my max factor and my buffer report. End of day prices would solve all my problems.
Yeah, they have a really great API. That's what I'm using for all of this. Yeah. It's super, super powerful. It has even more stuff than I've used already, than I've set up already.
But this is your fixed cost pretty much in the deal, because your programming is,
exactly.
I mean, you're doing all the programming probably basically for free, or because you love it, but this is what, $3,000 a month or something. So
it's $2,000 a month right now. So it's very, very expensive. It's a lot of money for sure. So I would like 100 users, please, as soon as possible.
Heck yeah.
and then
I'm working on it.
And then also, like, another thing, guys, like anybody who's watching, and if you watch later, like, I'm on Twitter. I'm at RoboTool on Twitter. Like, feel free to tag me or send me a DM. I'm happy to build like any features. I'm in Rod's Discord. I'm in Max's Discord. I'm in Kamir's Discord. I'm in all the Discords, man. I'm in everybody's Discord. My Discord is intense.
Me too.
So I'm in everyone from Ethan to everybody, right? Like all those fun ones.
I'm in Ethan's. I'm in Ethan's as well. Yeah, I'm in all of them. I'm in all of them. Yeah.
We can't keep up with them. There's so many, right? So feel free to come up with any ideas on there. I'm Roboto on there. Feel free to tag me or DM me, and as long as you're not a fake retire on dividends with the underscore in his name or something like that with all the fakes. I'm happy to build anything, man. Like, I'm trying to build this for other options nerds that want to, and ETF nerds that want to, a better tool for themselves, right? So I'm happy to build, and I'm very open and receptive to feedback. I've just been building this all for myself as a crazy person, building my spreadsheets in real life kind of thing. So this is the dividend calendar tool. This is just literally going in, grabbing all these tickers and trying to figure out what the dates are for it. So so we have, payment. We can show or hide. You want to see payment. You want to see declaration date. You don't care about declaration date. All you care about is XDiv and payment date. You can only show those. And then similarly, you can add any tickers. I don't think I did that in the other screens, but this is something you could do very easily. Let's say we can just add QDTE in here, hopefully, and now it's going to regenerate. There's something else that I want to add to this feature as well, is the same thing that I have in this dividend income calculator, where it's now we have QDTE. I need to add those future payments in, right? So that then we can add, because if I go and I pull in like Round Hill dividends, it's not going to find any future payments because they're so last minute to posting any of their releases. So that's why I like over this weekend I started building out the future estimation engine pretty much, so we could figure out what the future holds. We could estimate what the future holds. I don't know. I think we're falling over. I think we're doing a good job. I didn't even get to portfolios yet, man. And so, back to what I was saying earlier about, like, I'm trying to build everything for everyone. I'm building too much stuff. I have a whole entire portfolio management system in here as well, so that you can. Maybe I lost my cookie or something, dude. We're like dropping sessions and stuff. I feel like, which is part of the problem.
I'm sure there's people out there trying it right now. Probably, I mean, so you probably have more people than you've ever had on it.
Yeah, I think that probably is what's happening at the moment. I am falling over.
I'm not signed into my account.
No, that's okay.
I'll stay signed out. I was going to stay signed out while you were demoing this.
No, I don't think it's you. I think it's me and some session stuff I have going on.
All right, I got you.
I think I have another tab open somewhere that's like.
The Retire on Dividends said, feel free to share this in his Discord. Go put your link in there.
Oh, thanks, man.
And of course, I've already shared it in my Discord, and I will continue to do so.
Thanks, Rod. If you, I'll create a referral link for you as well, and you feel free to share it and share in your community. And anybody who signs up through your referral code, if they stay signed on for 2 months, if they make 2 payments, then I will give you one of those payments. And so,
$20.
And so I built a whole referral tracking system in the back end and stuff. So it's been super cool. So here's like a whole portfolio. So this is where we get a little bit crazy, Max. But I've been building this whole this originally came out. This is why I built this thing. Originally was like I wanted a wheel tracker, right? So I'm in another group, another trading group from another great YouTuber called TJ the Wheel Deal. He is he's a wheeler, a self-proclaimed wheeler, where he is actually running a family hedge fund where he has about $20 million in it now, and he's just been on YouTube for a while and on Twitter, and he's a really great guy, and he's done a lot to try and help the community and help the options community and his community, and he's been on like Amit's channel, and there's a couple other guys like Tevis, like there's a bunch of big stock bros on YouTube and Twitter that where he's shown up, and yeah, he has some really good ideas around trading, and he had this wheel tracker spreadsheet, and I'm like, man, I should just build this thing. And I know there's other apps out there that do this as well, but I wanted to build one to try and bring tastytrade to the masses, right? So like, I know this is a lot, but it's like trying to break down all of your positions, right? So let's say you have multiple positions. So inside you have portfolios, right? So you have multiple portfolios. Inside those portfolios, you have positions. Inside those positions, you have trades and trade groups, right? And so the way inside a tastytrade, you can group, two trades together. You right click and say group positions, and you're like, all right, now that is going to be my put credit spread. But I also have 100 shares, and I'm also trying to do X or Y. So I have like an organized trades modes where you can create these kind of trade groups and create a trade strategy and like group them together. But I think another interesting part is the way I add a trade, right? And so this is another feature I need to create, because a lot of people don't want to enter their trades in that they make. A lot of people, I don't know if they're just doing 100 trades a day or they just don't want to do it twice, but they don't want to come here and actually like enter in a trade themselves. They want us to automatically update their trade for them and like pull in all their daily trades, which I totally get. Just automatically do it. I don't have that functionality yet. That is super complicated, and it's really, I mean, if somebody wants to manually upload a CSV, that's less complicated. But for me to actually interface with Fidelity and tastytrade and IBKR and everybody, it's going to be a lot of work, and I definitely need more help on that side when I get there. But I'm going to try. I'm going to download some CSVs, and I got to get there. I have a guy in TJ's group who shared his IBKR CSV with me, which is greatly appreciated. But the idea here is you have a new trade, you can put a trade together. We can add 100 shares. We can add, we can add as many shares as you want. We can add that position. We built that strategy. We can go through and select, a specific date, expiration date, and say, all right, I want to add this short contract. We can enter in the premium we received for it. We can up the quantity. We can do all that stuff. And it's showing, all the pertinent information there. And then we'd save it, and it would show up right in there. I've built a couple of tools to try and make this a little easier though as well. So I built like a text tool, and actually I forgot to do this. I have a speech to text tool as well, but at some point I deleted the button by accident. I haven't added it back yet. But the idea here is so you can say like, bought 100 shares at, at 95, 20, 34. And it's going to go off. It's going to send this to ChatGPT. GPT is going to be like, I know how to read English. I know what this means. And then send me back in like a format that I can understand. What is this contract? What is the thing I need to add? And so I can hit confirm and fill. And now it just added my 100 shares that I bought at $94. But we can get a little bit crazier. Let me pull up Robinhood here on another screen, so I don't dox myself too badly here. Let's see. I'll find a share. Let's find a trade. I'm just scrolling into my, so like, let's go back. I'll go into Toast, represent Toast. And I just copied the history, the notification that I got. Your order to sell one open contract, $40 has been filled, blah, 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 parse trade. And so it's going to go out. It's going to find, okay, what's the quantity? Price 60, strike 45, call, expiration date. That's off by 1. I got to fix that. There's like a interesting thing with the time and the date there, but it's fine. It found the right expiration here. Yeah, and so that just, found the contract. So if you lazily don't want to go through and like find your contracts, or if you have like a couple of things together, you can do that. Or we can also, let me delete this guy. We can also do a screenshot, right? So I can do
This is incredible. I couldn't believe this. This is incredible.
And so I can add a screenshot, and I just took a screenshot of that same thing. And I can say, processing screenshot, and then now it's doing the same thing. Text trade information extracted successfully down here. So now I'm trying to find the right contract, and now I found the right contract and the right setup, and now confirm and fill, right? So not even having to worry about managing your, copying text and like going over and doing that and doing this. I did this actually with Tasty Trade earlier. Whatever. Ooh, don't steal my account. So like, let's say Palantir here, I could say I have this position.
Oh, that's incredible.
And then take my screenshot, I'll paste it in. So it's, or actually, I don't think I got strike price. I don't think I got trade price in there. We'll do it for hood up here actually, because it's right next to trade price. So
there you have it. Yeah.
It won't work when I'm not on hood. Am I on hood? Do I have a hood in here? No. We'll add a position. I'll say hood. It'll drop me right on the create a new trade page. I'll paste a screenshot in for hood with the trade price, and it should figure out, okay, I sold this is my coverage strangle on hood. Uh-oh, rip. Process screenshot. Unable to extract specified details. I wonder what failed here.
This is pretty advanced. You'll figure this out, or this is.
Yeah, it usually works.
Usually works.
It's the story of my life. Do something live, see what happens.
I would be fine with just being able to download my CSV from Tasty Trade or wherever, and just being able to load the CSV in. And if your software could take a CSV and then spit it into positions, that would save a lot of time. I would love that feature.
Yeah, definitely. That's the idea. Definitely in the future, I very much want to do that. The other thing I was thinking too is like, as I was building out this feature with the text, is like, how can I just build? Can I just build a like Jarvis? Can I just build a trading Jarvis where everyone's going? They're jumping from Tasty Trade to Fidelity to whatever to E-Trade, and they can just say, they can just press a button and be like, Jarvis, I sold in my E-Trade, sold my 100 toasts and closed out the call as well, and then it'll figure out, okay, does this look correct? And then give you a dialogue that's like, does this look correct? And then you just hit okay. But we'll get there. We'll get there for sure. But yeah, this is the portfolio stuff, and trying to create a portfolio tracker that has like pertinent information that people care about as a options trader, right? What do you care about? Your theta per day? What's your deltas? Like, this is actually just like a fake demo account, but people care about what are your deltas? What's your theta per day? Like all the stuff you see in Tasty that you would care about. How do you manage your portfolio? Yeah, and then lastly, just real quick, I won't go deep into these because you guys can all do this for free. Even if you don't make an account, you just go to StockTools.app. I have all these little free calculators in here that are just doing math for you and just kind of figure out some of this stuff. And so you can come in and say, what's a compound interest calculator? I have a very simple percentage calculator. Like these are just kind of simple math things that we'll use over time. Profit loss calculator is like, if I bought for this price, I sell for this price and this much. What would I be making over time? Same thing with options, like take profit calculator. This is something fun that I always would do. I ended up making like a Chrome plugin for this at one point, where it's like, all right, I sold it for 3.7. I want to set where do I set my take profit? My 50% take profit, right? So I sold the put. I just want to set my take profit. All right, I'll set it for 185. Set it and forget it. And like, all right, I'll see you later. See you in 3 weeks, kind of thing. And so I built a bunch of these little free tools to try and help people do these things manually, right? Like it's not hooked up to the API, so I'm not going to charge for it because I'm not pulling in any data. I just created this thing just to try and help people out.
This is awesome.
Yeah, this one is really cool. And the other thing I need to do also, like this trade planner is something I think I really need to do to pull in to the live data to where it's actually like, instead of you entering this information, I need to create this where it's like, all right, you want to set up a trade in Apple right now. It's like, all right, the trade price is like, I don't even know. We'll just say, I'm actually looking at, BidX over here. BidX is 62.88 right now, and I'm going to buy 100 shares. But if I use optimal, it's going to say I want to risk 2% per trade. We'll bump that up to 3% per trade. And it'll say, okay, you can get 954 shares then if you have a $100,000 account. That doesn't seem right. That seems wrong. That seems wrong. That seems way riskier than it's supposed to be. But let's just say 100 shares. That's much better. Total risk percentage. That's not right. Do I have 1 million in here? I'm confused. I don't know. Whatever. I got to look at these calculators. But yeah, the idea is like building all these calculators out. So trying to expose some of these cool tools and being able to figure out, all right, what's 5%? You have a stop loss of 5%. Where should I put my stop losses if I want to? Or where should I put my take profits if I want to? I can set a sell price for these levels. And another thing to think about too is like laddering in and out of positions. And so like, okay, if target 1, target 2, target 3. And so it's like, what are you selling at that point, right? So selling, selling these lots of like, okay, I want to sell 50% at 2% and then sell another 25% at 4% and then another 25% at, at an aggressive gain or something like that. So, kind of letting your winners run kind of thing, taking your initial back and stuff like that. But yeah, that's it, man. That's it. I'm very happy to talk about this stuff. I greatly appreciate you letting me rant for an hour and a half here, man. This was great. Going through all of this fun stuff. It's been super fun.
Well, I appreciate you showing it to us. Your time is you're pretty much your main asset is your programming, your ability to figure this stuff out. And so you burned an hour and a half where you could have been building this out. At the same time, marketing's part of the deal as well, though.
Yes.
So,
yeah, unfortunately, marketing is part of it.
Just picking up the retire on dividends thing, affiliate, that'll probably make you. That'll get you that between him and me, I think we have enough option bros in our audience. No, I'm extremely impressed. I think all my guys are as well. I couldn't even tell you that it's not really ironic, but this is all the stuff I want to do in my head. I've thought of a lot of these ideas. I just don't have the skill to, but anyway, but this is incredible. This is, if I would build all this stuff myself if I knew how to. I mean, this is absolutely incredible.
I'm happy to be your I don't know. I'm your person to get stuff into production. I will be your servant. I was actually looking up into Stripe last night. How do I give you a 100% discount code so you're just free forever? And I'll build you whatever you want, buddy. We'll build some cool stuff.
Well, I was going to say, if you'll just make mine free, give me a God account or whatever they call that,
exactly.
or whatever. And I plan to use this instead of option strat or maybe alongside option strat to do earnings trades. We need to build an earnings screener, but I'll give you time. Just have it ready. Have the earnings screener ready by tomorrow. And I'm just joking. But at some point, an earnings screener would be great too, don't you think?
Oh, totally. I want to eventually compete with option strat. I unfortunately still will go to option strat myself to try and do exactly what we were talking about. Look at risk graphs, try to figure out, okay, what's the potential if this moves? It's really easy to see. I really love how, you can change between max, the percentage of your profit percentage versus the max risk versus even switching to look at your deltas over time. That's trying to figure out, all right, if it does go down, where you start losing your deltas and your, zebras and your synthetic positions and stuff like that. And like, I still use option strat myself. I'm not quite there to be a competitor in that super, super in-depth side, but there's a whole lot of other stuff on top of it that option strat doesn't do that I wish it did. That's where I've been trying to lean into at first until I get all of that base covered. And then I'm going to go for the hardcore math stuff.
And really, I think the ETF stuff is a home run also. There's so many people. It's a little bit of a different audience, but people trying to plan their retirement and trying to look at, should I get 25% alti and 10%, whatever. I mean, I think that's going to be a home run. Even with the people that don't care about the cash secured put screener will love the ETF stuff. I think that's a home run.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, thanks, very man. Good. Well, I'll let you go. I appreciate it. Thanks again. You guys, what's your, give me your Twitter handle again. It's
ROBOTOOLE.
So it's right, but it's O, is it? I thought it was 0. It's ROBO.
No, it's O. Yeah, it's O.
ROBO. Okay. Then what? I was just trying to type it in the thing, type it in the comments.
No worries.
All right. Well, very good. I'll post it in. I'll post it in my Discord and everything. All right. Well, if there's anything you need from our community, also, or anything you need from me, just absolutely let me know. I'm here to help any way we can.
Yeah, just ideas, man. I'm here. I'm here as your muse. That's the word I was looking for earlier. To build whatever
Yeah,
you guys
news.
want.
Well, I do need a little bit of help with something. Maybe I'll hit schedule some time with you this
Yeah,
weekend.
man, for
We
sure.
talked about that lovable, something so simple it'd probably take you 5 minutes to do.
Right. There's probably some little thing that we're just missing in there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, very good, Rob. I
Cool.
appreciate it. And you have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Max. You too. Take care,
All right.
guys.
I'm going to quit the stream now. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
All right. Bye.